Oh, morning all, hope you're all okay. I'm out again, but you can see I'm in day glow today, which means I'm out cycling on my trusty steed. And we're here in Swindley Forest again. You'll see up there that there's a sign which says Old Bracknell Road, and in the 17th, 18th century that was like the main road into Bracknell. So 17th, 18th century, you know, looking at kind of like coach and horses kind of thing. And this area was called Bagshot Heath, and yeah, you as you would imagine, with all that tree cover, there was 3 notorious highwaymen that used to come and rob the people. They were all eventually caught and hanged, of course, but yeah, so that was the this is the main roads, or a crossroads of the main roads. So anyway, I diverge. So today I'm on the hunt for an old World War II training ground. I know roughly where it is, but it may take some finding. So good morning all, hope you're all well. I'm back out again after last week's resounding failure. The map coordinates I was looking for were wrong and out by a mile, so in the end I did about 12 miles of cycling and got nowhere. So anyway, we're back here at Swindley Forest. We're out on the Devil's Highway, which is a Roman road. If you down there, completely straight, and it just takes a slight kink and continues on down there. If you know your early Christian history, the thing was, in the kind of medieval period, people weren't that bright, and anything that was they couldn't understand or they couldn't explain, then it must be the work of the devil. All complete nonsense, of course, but there we go. To our enlightened eyes, of course. Anyway, our journey continues on down there, so I'll catch up with you in a minute. The Devil's Highway is a Roman road dating from 47 AD that ran from Londinium, now called London, to Caliva Attribatum, which is just south of Reading. Caliva was a major transport hub which connected a number of Roman roads heading to Aquasulis, now called Bath, Glevus, now called Gloucester, and to Old Sarum, now called Salisbury. These are octagonal reinforced concrete tank traps. Probably about 5 foot tall, something like that. The area I'm heading towards is called Barossa Common, which is land owned by the Ministry of Defence but managed by the Surrey Wildlife Trusts. It is part of the land owned and used by the Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst, and certain areas are open to the public, but other areas are strictly off limits as a danger area. You might think Barossa is a strange name for a heathland in Surrey, but apparently it was named because it reminded some of the veteran instructors of the land around the Battle of Barossa in Spain, I guess because of the tall pines and sandy soil. The battle in 1811 was part of the Peninsular War, where the British Army, along with their Spanish and Portuguese allies, fought a war on the Iberian Peninsula against the invading armies of Napoleon I of France. During the battle, a single British division defeated 2 French divisions and captured a regimental eagle. So here we are, deep in Swindley Forest, and I've managed to find the place that I was looking for. And yeah, it's a little bit, I was close but not close enough, and a slight navigation error, you know how it is. Anyway, so we're in Swindley Forest. This is Swindley Forest, and we come to this part here. You see I've unceremoniously dumped my bike here. What's unusual about this part of Swindley Forest, it's got these unusual things from World War II. These are tank traps. And if you look at this one, it's got the date that it was made etched into the top. 17th of April 1943. Another one over there. Okay, and here's some more. So this is the next row along, but these ones are caged in reinforcing rebar. I'm going up here and there's another layer. That one's almost entirely covered in ferns. But this is a more unusual variant where it's a 5-sided. There's a better one. So you see, obviously you got front face there, another face, slightly sloping, and then slightly sloping down the back. Again, reinforced concrete. So in an attempt to make this place more fun for people, this World War II defensive line was made into a mountain bike trail. The massive reinforced concrete mound, but got chunks taken out of it, some pretty big chunks as well. These are also anti-tank defences. And you'll identify that this is not an RSJ, but actually an old piece of railway track. Big chunk of concrete being taken out there.
Woo. That's a socket of some sort. Clearly contains something, but not anymore. And then this is a line of old railway track. So you notice that immediately that this doesn't really look like the kind of defences, anti-tank defences, that would be employed in the UK. And it isn't. It's anti-tank defences that are German in origin, in the middle of Swindley Forest. And this trench here is an anti-tank trench, and it goes up there and then bends slightly to the right, which you can see on the LiDAR data, which I'll put up on the screen in a second. And this is, we believe that this is a training ground for the D-Day landings, to simulate the kind of defences that you're going to meet when you land on the beaches. I'll have to be careful coming down there because I might meet a mountain biker coming in the other direction. Now the possibility is that this large chunk of torn out concrete is from a tank shell.
These railway line pieces buried in concrete were similar to a German anti-tank defence nicknamed Rommel's asparagus. This is a photo of anti-tank defences still in situ in the Netherlands. Sometimes the Germans placed telemines on top of these pieces of rail if they'd been placed on beaches. Local memories of the site indicate that this was a training ground for Operation Overlord, otherwise known as the D-Day landings. Training for the operation started in July 1943, so just a few months after the Dragon's Teeth had been manufactured. What seems clear, though, is that the training ground had been constructed by a regiment of the Royal Engineers for the purposes of either training troops to clear anti-tank defences, or it was a training ground to test out the AVRE tank. AVRE stood for Armoured Vehicle Royal Engineers. The chunks taken out of the large concrete defence could either be ground away by tank tracks once a fascine had been placed in the ditch, although the larger hole looks similar to photos I've seen of the petard charge fired by the AVRE tank. The fascine was effectively a bundle of logs tied together with steel cable that was dumped into an anti-tank trench to bridge the gap and allow tanks to cross. There were other variants of these AVRE tanks, where one was a flamethrower and there was a bridge layer, a recovery vehicle, a bulldozer, and a mine-clearing flail tank. These were invented by Major General Sir Percy Hobart, who was a British Army officer and military theorist who developed specialised tanks that were used in the Normandy invasion during World War II. After graduating from the Royal Military Academy at Woolwich in 1904, Hobart was commissioned in the Royal Engineers. Hobart served in India and then fought in France and Iraq during World War I, where he acquired a record as a brilliant but independent-minded officer. Believing that tanks were the future of ground warfare, he joined Britain's newly formed Royal Tank Corps in 1923 and became a colonel in 1928 and was promoted to Major General in 1937. In 1938 he was transferred to Egypt, where he raised and trained the nucleus of the future 7th Armoured Division, which achieved fame during World War II as the formidable Desert Rats. In 1939, Hobart was taken off active duty, but was recalled to active service by Prime Minister Winston Churchill. In 1943, Hobart raised and took command of the 79th Armoured Division. In this post, he adapted tanks into specialised armour, capable of such functions as swimming, climbing or destroying walls, and launching unconventional projectiles. Hobart's creations were used by Allied units in their assault on the Normandy beaches on the 6th of June 1944, and proved a key element in the swift breaching of the Atlantic Wall. Hobart was knighted in 1943 and retired from the army in 1946.